Hello there everybody, this is Krista and welcome back to the Krista Chronicles, and today we're doing a walkthrough of a Kickstarter I just got in last night that I am so excited about. This is a Grieving Tarot by Sarah Kathleen. This is the same creator as the Everybody's Tarot and Everybody's Oracle, which I have the Everybody's Oracle that I love so much. I just love her art style, and so when I saw that she was coming out with this art style combined with the theme of grieving, I was intrigued. So I'm really excited to go through this. Obviously, grieving, heavier subject, but emotion is very necessary to process. So I'm really interested to see how this creator kind of goes about that. So let's just get into it. We've got a nice two-piece box that fits the cards perfectly, I believe, because it's tarot-sized. A Grieving Tarot by Sarah Kathleen. Simple, thoughtful, and unique tarot through a lens of loss. Love that. I love the simpleness of that. Okay, I love this illustration on the cover. So then we've got, I know the standard is to always have it like face up, but just for my own little silly purposes, I'm like, I wish they were face down so I didn't get like a spoiler. Anyway, so here's the guidebook. Let's see what we get in here. We've got an about the deck, about this guide, a thank you. Okay, and then we just go right into the card meanings, and it looks like we get like a paragraph for each card. Excellent. Oh, she's got all her other creations in the back. Oh, I forgot she did a Creatures Tarot and Creatures Oracle. That's cool. Okay, yeah, so it looks like, again, very straightforward. We just get the meanings. And I think that's great. So, here are the backs. Beautiful. Let's zoom in a bit. Definitely a very standard tarot size. Looking around for the deck. Ah, I've got this one. This is the Shining Tribe. So yeah, tarot sized. And it's got a like smooth finish cardstock. Do we want to know the exact details? I just remembered that I can find that out somehow, some way. Let's see. Oh, I've got so many exciting Kickstarters lately. Cool. There we go. Okay. It's, yeah, definitely feeling smooth finish to me, but okay. 2-part rigid box. It is 310 GSM Heretic Smooth black cord playing cardboard. Very flexible feeling, but like sturdy and nice. I think that's gonna be an amazing shuffle. So without further ado, let's get into it. Oh, look at these colors. I love her use of color and loving seeing that like that's still worked into this deck. The Fool, really interesting how it's like our Fool character's a little bit more in contemplation than we would usually see, which is interesting. The Magician. Okay, so there's almost this like, I don't know if this is the right word, but like listlessness to it. You know that feeling of like when you kind of are in that grief. And I very much think of grief, it's like, you know, it can be processing a loss of a person or pet or things like that, but something I really try and do is think of a lot of things as like little griefs, just from like a processing perspective. And so when you're in that kind of grieving state, even if it's just in terms of like something hasn't gone right and you have to now like pivot and let that original idea go kind of thing. How it's like sometimes you're looking at all the tools, and even though you have all the tools, it's just sort of like, ugh, like I don't want to. Which is, I think, a total valid point in the process, but that, look at that with that magician. The high priestess, the way the character's holding the moon, it's almost like a, real, it's like, it feels like that moment when you're trying to think about like, okay, what is the point here? The Empress, ugh, gorgeous. I love that with the mushroom. I'm very excited. At the end, we'll definitely shuffle and pull a card and read the guidebook. Really excited to see that. The Emperor, oh, he's made it to the top of this mountain. That is cool. The Emperor who like has conquered that uphill battle. The Hierophant, ugh. Oh my gosh, this makes me think of when I was a little kid. I used to, the way I would stay up way past my bedtime reading, because if I used a book light, which like I feel at that point, like early 2000s, everyone had a book light, but it would be obvious that I was using it. I had a street light right outside of my bedroom window, so I would duck underneath my shades because it's like my bed was right up against the window, hold the book like underneath the shade to get the light from the street light. I did that for so long and only got caught one night when my mom was driving home late from somewhere. Saw my little face in the window. That reminds me of that. The Lovers. Growing something that's really interesting. The Chariot. Strength. Oh, I love, again, that like moon imagery. And again, walking uphill. It feels like that point of like, maybe this character has already started walking. That's a possibility. Or maybe they're like still just at the bottom of the hill. And with that moon, it's sort of like there's mystery around again, like what's the point, which I think is like such a relatable feeling. But still knowing by like going up this hill, like you will get to the top. And even if you don't know what that's gonna look like, it will still feel better. Love that. The Hermit, oh, he's in his own bubble. Wow. Wheel of Fortune. It's like a ship's wheel. That's interesting. Justice. The Sunrise. So again, it's this idea of like, oh, and he's at the top of the hill. So yes, relating to strength. Which I think it's interesting. I don't know if this is purposeful, but in my head, the Strength card and the Justice card feel very related, which is interesting because depending on the system you're using, their position are, interchangeable in a way. So to me, it's feeling like the same character's on top of the mountain now, and the sun is rising. So it's like, it balances out. Eventually the sunlight comes again. The Hanged Man. I love that, it's like an owl. Ugh, Death. Okay, wow. So it's like, it's so interesting how simple it can be and how much that can convey. Because you've got the same kind of figure, but it's almost like this ghostly version. So the idea of like, say if it's like a person who has passed. Physically they're not there, but there's still this idea of them that can be so present. And even looking at this card, it could even be like a past version of yourself that can still be like held onto for better or for worse. Oh, interesting. Temperance. riding the waves. I feel like that's what that feels like to me. The Devil. Okay, call back to the Lovers. Yes! Okay, wait, I'm loving this. Where is that? Call back to the Lovers. Now getting tangled in that growth, in that commitment. The Tower. I mean, yeah. Yeah. I think that speaks for itself, right? The Star. Beautiful. The Moon. Oh, I love that. Thinking of the moon as kind of like the unknown. I love this idea of like being cradled by the unknown, because while on one hand that can be really scary, on the other hand, like, I feel like that also can offer a lot of hope of like the future isn't set. The Sun. Interesting that our character has their back to the sun. I think it's like, I feel like I can see this in two ways, of like almost a little like Four of Cups-ish, where it's like purposely keeping their back to the light because they're not ready to like be out of that grief feeling, or almost like just wanting to focus on the physical sensation of the sunlight instead of looking into the sun, which might be like too much too fast. Like that feeling of the sunlight on your back, like the comfort of that. Interesting. Judgment. Love that. And the World. Again, on top of the mountain. Oh, with the little plant. Super cool. Okay. Loving this so far. So first we've got the Ace of Wands. Two of Wands. Very classic. Love that. Three. A Journey Ahead. Oh, I love Four of Wands. The character, though, is like, usually we see them inside this moment of like stability and celebration, but now we've got this character kind of outside of that, which feels to me, again, in this lens of grief, of like how sometimes it can feel so weird to have those happy moments when you're also experiencing grief, how like two things can be true at the same time. Five of Wands. Six. Again, like they're back to it. Thinking of that as celebration, of like sometimes it can feel strange. Interesting. Seven of Wands. The other thing I'm finding really interesting is the cards where we usually have multiple characters, we just have this one, which definitely gives this kind of feeling of loneliness, not necessarily in a bad way. I think it would just depend on the interpretation. Eight of Wands. Okay, yeah. Yeah. Nine of Wands. Okay, yeah, they've gotten larger. They feel kind of looming. Ten of Wands, classic, and like they're at the, it almost seems like they've already climbed up a mountain and now they're in this valley again and have to like restart. Page. Knight. Queen. Oh, I love these little flowers around. And King of Wands. Okay, the Cups. Alright, yeah, I like how so far the aces are similar. You get the single object and this character not really like interacting with it just yet. Two of Cups. Ugh. One's full and one is empty. Man. Three of Cups. again, that plant imagery of like something that was kind of grown. In like a mutual effort almost, I feel like. Thinking about like just the classic Three of Cups and revisiting that. Feels like almost like a thing of like memories. Four of Cups, classic. 5. Six of Cups. Yeah, I like this. Again, it feels like definitely like very reflective. 7, I like all the different colors, that's cool. 8. Oh, I like how they're lining the path, and it looks like some of the cups had some of it like drinking out. What? No. What? How do you say that? What was I just trying to say? Some of the cups were drank from? Yeah, that's it. And some aren't. So that's interesting. 9 of Cups. Again, same thing. They're not all of them are as full. But this focus on the one. And the sunlight coming down. Ooh, how interesting. It feels very much like one thing at a time. Like, let's focus on one thing at a time, one step at a time. And 10 of Cups. Ugh. How the cups are shielding from the rain. Beautiful. Page. Cute. Knight. Okay, yeah, so also our courts so far are very, like, repetitive of each other. I'm really liking the simpleness of this. I think that feels a little, somewhat, like, necessary when it comes to this topic, because I think it leaves a lot of room to insert your own interpretation. Which is cool. King. Okay, now we've got our swords. 2 of Swords. I love this. I like how the swords aren't like crossed over the figure, which is what we usually see. I don't exactly know in this moment what that means, but I think it's interesting. Like, it feels different than that kind of like closed offness that you usually see in the 2 of Swords. 3 of Swords. Yeah. 4 of Swords. Ugh. I like it that the figure's like eyes are open, so it's like they are laying down and resting in a way, but it's giving me this idea of like maybe mentally they aren't. 5 of Swords. Again, interesting when there's like not other characters in here. I think I'm gonna set this one aside. That feels like one I want to know. Well, let's just do it now. I want to know what the guidebook says. Where did I put it? Oh, here it is. Let's read 5 of Swords, because that is like something that's really standing out to me. And I'm curious how the interpretation might differ. Winning at all costs, a battle with no winners. Energy is a precious resource, especially now. Not every argument deserves your time, and it is okay to walk away from conflict and let someone misunderstand you. Pick your battles and save your energy for things that nourish rather than drain you. Okay. Interesting. So I think like the solitary figure kind of just leans into that grief feeling. Interesting. 6 of Swords. Perfect. Kind of I like how the sun is rising right above or right behind that island where I'm like this figure I'm guessing wants to go. 7 of Swords. 8. Feels very reminiscent of the 9 of Wands, which I think, never really thought about it, but I feel like the 9 of Wands and 8 of Swords like have very comparable energy, which I think is interesting actually. I think what would be interesting with this deck, I think there's a lot of intentionality, is that a word? behind where you see a little bit of repeating imagery. And I would be really interested to like pair those up, because I think the fact that this is reminiscent of the Nine of Wands feels actually intentional to me, and I never really thought about those two cards side by side in my brain, but that's an interesting comparison. Nine of Swords, Ten of Swords. Ugh. We've got our Page. I love the color schemes going on too. Knight. Queen of Swords. I love how there's different plants too around each of the queens. And the King of Swords. Right, last but not least, we've got our Pentacles. Ace. Two of Pentacles. Love that. Three. Oh, it feels like those, like, when people make those stacks of stones. Four of Pentacles. I love that. Five. Ugh, how they're like stars. And I really like, too, it feels also there's a lot of intention behind which cards are like daytime and which are night. Because to me, this Five of Pentacles feels less like money loss, more so almost that, like, how I feel like these kinds of emotions can feel so much stronger, almost like suffocating at night versus the day. Six of Pentacles. Seven. Eight. I love that, painting the pentacles. Nine of Pentacles. 10. I like the repeat of the pentacles almost as stars, and how this one feels a little bit more hopeful. We've got our Page, the Knight, Queen, oh I love the daisies, and King. Perfect. Okay, well, so we already read an entry from the guidebook, so we're just going to shuffle just to see. Then let's find some pairings, I think. Yeah, just as I thought. That's a fantastic shuffle. Okay, I'm really excited about this one. I think it did exactly what it said it was going to do, at least my impression so far. Like, I think it really hits on that topic of grieving, but keeping things simplistic. And again, I think that really allows for more like self-insertion, self-interpretation, which I think, given this topic, I feel like is just kind of the way to go. Okay, I'm gonna find some possible pairs, and I'll be back. Okay, found some pairs, and I didn't bring out the Everybody's Oracle, because what I kind of wanted to do was also keep the subject in mind, considering it's a very specific subject. So I brought out things that, oracles, I mean, I got 3 oracles here that if I am feeling like I am in a grieving space, these are ones I would pull out. So, starting up. Lights in Dark Places Oracle. I don't know, I think this could either work or not with the art style. I don't know. Let's see. Live life with open eyes and an open heart, with 9 of Wands and Knight of Wands. Interesting. Love so much that there is no room left for fear, with Temperance and Page of Cups. That's cool. What do we think about the look? Don't forget to play. Ace of Pentacles and the Devil. That's interesting. I actually think it works. I was kind of expecting it not to. It's okay to be scared, take time, but don't live in your darkness with the Tower and Five of Cups. Ah! Okay, wait, no, I like this. And I do think aesthetically it does work. Okay, one more. At the end of the day, you can either focus on what's tearing you apart or what's keeping you together with the Queen of Wands and Three of Swords. Stop. Okay, that's so good. All right, love that. That's a win. That's the Light and Dark Places Oracle. All right, next, I've got the Iris Oracle. This one we're kind of just looking at aesthetic because these are titles instead of keywords. What do we think? Oh, I think this is interesting. Weight of Truth with the Fool and Five of Swords. Okay, wait, yeah. Yeah. Okay, no, some of these are key phrases. I forgot. This, I like this. I like this a lot. Ooh, Stay Back with Two of Pentacles and King of Swords. That's interesting. Visions with the High Priestess and the Magician. Okay. I'm sold. One more. Broken and Hatched with Eight of Cups and Seven of Cups. Okay, yeah, cool. I love that. Okay, yay. I love this. Okay, because these are like my favorites to go to for this kind of feeling. So I'm loving that. So far they're all working. Last but not least, the I'm Here Oracle. Stretch with Six of Wands and the Hermit. Play with Five of Pentacles and Four of Wands. What do we think? How is this looking? Cocoon, Six of Swords and Six of Cups. I think Recognize. Ooh, with the Moon and Death. I do think this works. I think this brings a little bit more like levity and kind of like hope. I almost think it would be really cool to do, I'm thinking almost like a reading where this is paired with this, and then you do this as like a closing out card. That I think would actually be very cool. But I do think on its own it does pair well. But also I think actually all of these could work all together, which is fun. Wait, I kind of want to play. Hold on. We're gonna zoom out, show my very messy desk. But I've been very inspired lately by, on Instagram, Rainbow Lantern Tarot. Her name's Dee. If you don't follow her, you are missing out because she makes the most iconic monthly deck edits, and just everything about her process I am obsessed with. And she showed like how she goes about it yesterday. I have many questions for her. So I don't know if she watches YouTube, but if she's watching this, know that I have many questions. So I'm not gonna set this up probably as nicely as Dee does, but I feel like I kind of want to see all of them together, right? Okay, this is not going to be like centered at all. I'm not going to fix it. What do we think? Okay, I feel like this one isn't super jiving with the rest. Yeah. Well, it's not horrible, but I think... Hold on. If we did this... Ooh, gotta scooch you up. Okay, jeez Louise. Alright, the presentation isn't perfect, but you get the idea. I think this is actually a really good trio. Right? Like, reading mainly with these two, closing out message. The lonely journey of the process of the priestess, Page of Pentacles, and play. Yes! Smother with Two of Cups, and then cocoon in terms of like, almost like the resolution. Yes. Okay, I love this. That was worth it. Okay. Amazing. I'm super excited about this tarot. I really like how it was done. I'm loving that it's pairing with these oracles I've got here. Yeah. Let me know what you think. Is this one you backed? If not, what are you thinking of it? I like it. I'm a fan. But other than that, that's all I got for you today. So, I hope you're having a great day so far, and I'll see you again very soon.